Take your pick for another Career Musician episode. How to NAMM like a pro. We are just a few days away from NAMM. Can't believe it. Time flies and it goes by just like that. Speaking of NAMM, this cool instrument is a NAMM find. And that's one of my favorite things about NAMM are the NAMM goodies. The instruments and treats we get to take home is awesome. That is the best part, in my opinion. And stick around to the end of this podcast episode because there's a jam from NAMM 2015 Nashville. I had a lot of fun with my good buddies, Manny Yanes, who was the bass player for Robert Palmer and Patti LaBelle for many years, and Juan Carlos Santos, percussionist that we played together with Kirk Whalum for a long time. And John also works with a bunch of other people and some other cats in the video. We had a really great time, Nashville NAMM 2015. And this was the instrument in there, so a lot of fun. You might be wondering what the heck is going on with this Frankenstein. So I retrofitted this guitar with 3 steel strings in the middle, so on the B, G, and D strings to give it that really kind of tres cubano, which is a Cuban tres. It's like a Cuban version of a ukulele, if you will. It has like this weird kind of janky 12-string sound, but it's on purpose to play what we call those montunos. Right, so you hear that? It gives that really cool ringy kind of sound, which is just beautiful. It's a lot of fun. You can jam on it like a regular guitar. But it has a little bit of extra, just a little twang in there. So that's a NAMM find. Hey, don't forget we are the Career Musician Podcast, and we have an official sponsor, PA Rehearsal Studios, right here in the Valley of Los Angeles. If you use code TCM20, you get a 20% discount at PA Rehearsal Studios. Trust me, you're going to want to go there to rehearse. It's an awesome space, immaculately clean, amazing staff, and killer backline and PA gear in all 6 of the rooms. And I believe it's Studio 6 that has a Pro Tools booth as well, where you can record all your stuff in the Pro Tools booth, and it's separate, so you have nice sound, isolation. And that's where we record Talkin' Tunes for the Career Musician, which we got some great Talkin' Tunes episodes coming up you're not going to want to miss. So once again, PA Rehearsal Studios, use TCM code TCM20. That's TCM20 to get your discount at PA Rehearsal Studios right here in the Valley. Also, we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network, which is the first of its kind in a music collective. They got some great shows on there, but we are one of them, and they give us the podcast juice to bring you these shows every week. We're on every platform, your favorite platform. Be sure to listen, like, subscribe, share, follow, love. But most importantly, gang, do us a flavor of the musical picking kind and rate and review the show on Spotify and Apple, because it helps gets our numbers up, and we need more numbers. We need more people to hear the show, and because basically I need some support. I'm a one-man operation. I do have a couple TCM Pro members, pro team members who are awesome, but right now we don't have too much financial support, so everything's falling on me. So, but I love it because it's my passion project, and I want to bring you the best stuff here to help you have a sustainable career. But in order to do that, we need to continue growing, because the more growth we have, then I can start reaching out for some other sponsorships, and we can just maybe, figure out a way to really bring the show to the masses, because I know there's a gajillion career musicians out there who need to hear this. Which reminds me, share it with a friend. If you know a friend who needs to hear some of this stuff, share the love, man, because there's enough to go around. Everyone can eat. I just love this thing. I love that really, it's like a chorusy, you know. You just stay on these middle three strings, the D, G, B. When I come home, baby, my house is dark and my thoughts are cold. You hanging around, baby. The Career Musician was created by a working musician. That's me. For musicians, that's you. So everything I do here is legit. And I like to think that we're the number one resource to help you get the gig, keep the gig, and go beyond the gig to make music your business. Full stop, plain and simple. That's the truth.
You're listening to the Career Musician Podcast with Nomad.
Well, you just said the magic word, man. And it almost seems, or the magic phrase, it almost seems like the more you, the less you care, the better off it goes. The better it goes.
Yeah. And it's like, you don't want that to come across wrong, but it's for people like me, or like, I don't know how you are with it too, but like, it's people that like get almost too excited. You care so much and you really are like passionate about it. And that can be detrimental to your performance.
Guilty.
Yeah. And that's something I want to bring up. I want to explore with our next round of in-persons and talk to these guys about it. It's like, with your auditions, have you ever noticed this? What do you guys think about this concept? Yeah.
So this is perfect because this episode, How to NAMM, is Joel and I and the team, the TCM Pro team. We're getting ready to go down to NAMM next week. And we're recording this segment a week prior. And then while we're there, we're going to ask people about their first, best, worst audition experiences. And it's all based on this premise of, do you even gig, bro? Do you do gigs? And listen, if you are just a musical influencer and you don't actually play gigs, that's okay. I'm not knocking that at all. And actually, being an influencer is a form of a gig, because every time you get in front of that camera and you make a post, that's technically a gig. So it's because you have to do a lot to prep for that. You can't just throw it together and expect it to do well. So this whole agenda of, do you even gig, bro? Tell us about your auditions. We're going to go down there as a team and interview a shit ton of people on the floor, just impromptu, to find out what you think, what the general populace really thinks about auditioning. But Joel and I were talking about this, and we wanted to record this episode first because we want to tell people maybe who haven't been to NAMM yet, or who have been and really haven't figured out the secret sauce to it. It lies in what Joel and I just said. And Joel, how many NAMMs have you been to?
I think I've been to maybe 4.
Okay. So that's just a handful. I have probably been to at least a dozen, maybe 15 or so. Okay. Just off the bat, without thinking about it, you meet a musician on a gig. Oh, you go into NAMM? What's your response? What's your summation?
Yeah, I don't know. I like when I run into people talking about NAMM, like everyone in LA or around it, they're okay. They're like, yeah, it's whatever. It's cool. They're like, that's like a local thing always. Whenever you're in, it's like, whatever, it's fun. But everyone outside of it's stoked. Like when I run into people when I'm visiting at home Salt Lake, like when I'm visiting people and talking, they're like, dude, I'd love to go to NAMM one day. Like people, it's so cool. Everyone's stoked about it.
That's something else that when you're in close proximity to something, you take it for granted, right? Because I find that too. People who don't live here are like, man, that would be so cool. I want to go to NAMM. Yeah.
Some of my first few tours I learned is that this is kind of tangent. We're getting off on a tangent, but like people are always, and when you're in the local area, you're always like, it's whatever, it's fine. Like, I remember going to Austin for the first time and I was so excited. And musicians were like, it's whatever. It was better 10 years ago. Then you go to Nashville. It was better 10 years ago. And everywhere was better 20, 30 years. And it's like, dude, this is cool. But being jaded and playing, dude, it's okay to be excited about something.
Yeah. What a terrible thing to say. It was better 10 years ago. That means that you're living in the past. I feel bad for you. Can you imagine if we all just walked around living in the past? That would suck.
Dude, I remember when I first started touring, that was all I ran into. And I'm like, dude, F you, bro. This is sick. This is exciting.
Yo, you only get one shot. Musicians, you only get one shot when it comes to that audition. And trust me, it will come. So why gamble your future? Why walk away unprepared into a situation that you know you could have crushed? I put together a free guide called Audition Secrets. It breaks down everything in 3 simple steps. If you want to walk into that room with real confidence, not fake it, but own it, download the guide now. Go to thecareermusician.com/audition. Do this before your next audition, seriously, and you will get the gig. All right, so what's your takeaway now of NAMM? You've been 4 times, this will be five. Again, if a stranger just walks up, hey man, what do you think of NAMM? What's your general takeaway?
I love NAMM. It's exciting. There's all the panels, all the little things you can learn. Plus, it's a great place to nerd out on gear and make friends. That's what it's all about, making friends. So it's like it's a great place to meet people and hang and with people that are like you.
Have you ever landed a gear or product endorsement of any sort from NAMM, directly from them?
I haven't. I had one opportunity to that I didn't follow through on because it was for me endorsements, and everyone's different on this, and I respect everyone's opinion on it. For me, I want to endorse the products I've been playing that I love. So it was a stick company that I didn't really know or care too much about, and I love playing Vic Firth, and so I was like, I don't want to switch companies because I actually do care about this company and I want to play their stuff.
Let's go down that path. Tell me more about that because I've been on both sides of the fence on that. I've stuck to my guns, so to speak, and only wanted to play gear that I really liked and had an acquired taste for, a preference. And then I've been on the side where I'm like, yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, I'll take it. I'll just take everything. And I didn't care what it was or who made it. Or
Yeah. And I think you find cool gear. Like that's the thing too, is a lot of people make great gear. Like I think especially in the guitar world, there's so many companies that make cool stuff. And so like you can find incredible companies that will support you and you can get behind their gear. So I don't know.
Drum companies too. It's not like you guys are at a loss for amazing gear.
That's true. That's true.
Okay, if let's say we go and we stumble upon some drum company that makes something and they say, "Oh, wow, you're playing with so and so. We have this product. Would you be interested in doing a deal?" What's going to be your response? How do you go from there?
So the latest lesson I've been learning is just go for it. Try things. Like don't say no, quit shutting things down. Because I have fallen into that habit in the past. I think of turning away good things just because it doesn't match with whatever my preconceived notion was. So I think now, if I was to be offered that, I don't think I'd commit hard on something because I do truly like the products I'm using. But I think I'd be definitely down to try it and be like, okay, yeah, let's do a trial run. Let's check it out. And at least be open to, I'm trying to be more open and not shut down little opportunities.
Does that openness have anything to do with being a podcast co-host?
Heck yeah, dude.
5, 10 years ago, would you say, "Yeah, I'm going to be a podcast host someday"? Would
Probably not, man. I just don't think
exactly.
I just didn't think I had anything. I wasn't,
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm stoked to be here now.
exactly. But that's the case in point, right? That's the proof in the pudding. Don't say no. Learn to say yes. Now, look, there are certain points, there's certain thresholds where it's like, okay, wait, I got to drive 80 miles. You're not paying me, and maybe we'll play for tips. Yeah, that's a no. That's a no brand. Unless it's like one of your homies that you're like, oh my gosh, I love playing with you. I don't care. I'll drive 800 miles. Let's do it. It depends, right?
Yep,
There's
it
always
depends.
variables.
And I think there's a trap as you move up as a musician, as you get more, whether you call it success or busier or more opportunities. I think there is a trap of being like, I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to go below this or anything. And I think that is it. Just be wary. It's just you need to be wary of putting those kind of walls up because yeah, you never know where good opportunities are going to come from. And
Right.
so evaluate each opportunity. Don't put blanket like restrictions on what you're going to do.
There's no absolutes. Every situation is unique in its own right. And that applies to NAMM as well. I had a good friend of mine actually, he probably still is the music director and guitarist for Josh Groban and Tara Coney. When I first got to LA back in 2005, he was so nice. He brought in crates full of pedals during rehearsals at center staging for me to try out. He's like, here, try them out. And whichever one you like, just use it for a week or two and then just let me know and bring it back. And wow, that was really nice. So that's a great example of having no boundaries, like being totally open to stuff. Now, take that to the endorsement realm. I asked him after we hooked up again, I was like, hey, bro, who are you with? Gibson, Fender? Who do you endorse? He's like, funny you should ask because we were going to NAMM. He's like, I don't endorse any one particular company because I have guitars from an array of companies and I like them all. And I don't want any one company to feel like, wait a minute, he's our artist. Why is he playing a Fender? He's supposed to be playing a Gibson. And he didn't want to have that restriction on him. So again, that's a particular circumstance, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There are companies that do non-exclusive endorsement deals. So there's exclusive and non-exclusive. Now, if you think of somebody like Mono Neon or Corey Henry or somebody like that, who's like very high up in their game as an artist, chances are they're going to endorse a product and it's going to be exclusive. Or like guitar players. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know there's a bunch out there. So you just look at, oh, you're like, oh, I know that guy. He always plays this guitar. And by the way, that's his signature model with that company. Very different.
Yeah, like John Mayer or something like that. He's
Yes.
got his established thing. He's PRS guy or whatever.
Great example. He was a Fender guy forever until he became a PRS artist. And now you see him with Paul Reed Smith. Very good example. All right, you mentioned earlier, you said make them friends. And I like the way you said that. You didn't say the bad word. You didn't say networking. You said make them friends. Tell us about how you approach that.
And in the NAMM context, I would love insight from someone who's done it more, like you. Yeah, I think it's just talking to people. Like, you're not going to click with everyone. You actually, hold on, TCM principle, 3-foot rule, right? Which I also got from my teacher, Joel Stephen.
Shout out to Joel Stephen.
Joel. With a 3-foot rule, just talk to everyone. And I think if you go in with the concept of I'm going to network, I'm going to meet people, blah, 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 it's a little harder. But if you're just like, I'm just going to talk to everyone, and a couple of them are going to be cool, and we're going to be friends, and we're going to hit it off.
You're going to hit it off. Man, I'll give you a great example. I just got my hair cut. I was talking to the woman who was cutting my hair. We both learned that we have teenagers that started college. My teenager is going to community college. Hers just went away. And we started talking. Next thing, she turns me on to a college advisor that you can go pay for their counseling services to help you and your child figure out the best school to go to meet their needs and get the best scholarships and grants.
That's really cool.
I would have had no idea. Who would have thought Monday, oh, I'm going to go get my hair cut and figure out where my kid's going to go to college. Those two things don't go together. So now I have a resource that I never would have had before just because we were kicking it.
Yeah, that's great. And that's the same thing. Yeah, it's like you don't go out thinking like, I'm going to find a college advisor. I need to ask everyone about college. You just go out and just be sociable and talk, and you never know what you'll link up with.
That's it. I always like to use this example. I told Andy, who's a TCM pro, Andy Bond, our guitar player in the house band here. We were sitting at the bar one day and we're talking, and he's like, man, I got to be honest. I know I need to go out more. I know I need to network more. I know because I need gigs and blah, blah, blah. And then I said, oh man, those are really cool shoes. He's like, oh, thanks. I was like, wait, those are like Reeboks is that like the original Reebok from like 1985? He's like, no, this is a remake. I was like, wow, I used to have a pair just like that. And we started talking, going down this rabbit hole. Next thing you know, he looks at me. He's like, wow, that's cool. And I said, do you realize what just happened? He goes, no, what are you talking about? I said, congratulations, you've just been networked. I just networked you. He's like, whoa, that's crazy. Yeah, because I just picked one thing to talk about. And it doesn't have to be anything that's relevant to the situation at the time. We were at a bar having nachos and a beer, and I just asked him about his sneakers. Now, it was genuine. It was sincere because I did have a pair like that back in the day when I was growing up. But you just find one thing, one commonality that you could be like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe somebody would walk up to you and be like, the career musician, what's that on your hat? What is that all about? What does that even mean? Bam. That's like it's so old and traditional. I hate to sound like that, but that's your icebreaker, right?
Yeah. Yeah. If you go into, you're not going in being like, oh, I'm gonna get a gig. I just like, you go out and like talk to people and, oh, what's up? I like that guitar's sick. You were just playing that guitar. I love that thing. It sounded great.
Right. Now, you are going to meet a lot of jaded people and maybe some a-holes, but you just overlook it. Don't get stuck on it.
Yeah, I love jaded. Yeah, my goal is to break them, dude. I'm like, I'm going to get you to smile. I'm going to get you to laugh, bro. I played this one where I met him. We were hopping on a plane. It was literally a situation where I met the band at the airport, like for the first time. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. And one of them was just like total jaded, whatever, cool to me. And I'm like, I'm going to get you, bro. We're going to have some fun. Whether or not you want to.
How'd you do
it? I just
kept
joking with him, bro. I just kept talking to him, joking to him. I'm not going to match your energy. Like, you're coming up to mine.
I like that. You have to make them come up to your energy.
And you bring that energy. And that's taking that into NAMM, but it's like your energy it matters. The way you bring the energy you bring into a room, right? There's hold on. What's his name? He's John Cougar Mellencamp, drummer for a long time. Bald, glasses, super cool looking dude.
Not Liberty DeVito. That's Billy Joel's guy.
No.
Okay.
Shit, that's gonna bug me. But anyway, he talks about He's like, I bring that energy to the room when I go to people. I want to bring that nice high vibration, like good energy. And then he's had artists be like, yeah, he saved my session because he comes into a room where maybe people are in a bad mood or things aren't happening. And he just brings this happy energy. And
Yes. Oh, are you talking about Kenny Aronoff?
yes, Kenny
Yeah,
Aronoff.
the
Yes.
Kenny Aronoff, like one of the most
Yes.
famous gig touring and session drummers. Yeah, yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I think it might have been John Mellencamp who says that, where he's like, yeah, he saved more sessions than I can count just by his energy. He brings in happy energy and vibes and it lets you create and stuff. But you bring that same energy, but it's not necessarily like if you're a very quiet, introverted person and you're like, I'm not blah, blah, blah. You don't have to be fake and be like, huh, but be the best version of yourself. Try and be the happiest, most outgoing version of yourself.
So what you're saying is for those of us who are a little bit more introverted and not as outgoing, you don't have to be uncomfortable. But how would you mitigate that? Because if the goal is to be outgoing, how do you mitigate the discomfort versus comfort level?
I think take it slow. Like just I think it's not necessarily you don't want to ever be uncomfortable. I think you should be uncomfortable a little bit. Push yourself a little more because that's where growth happens, right? In discomfort.
Yeah.
But maybe so you take it like if you're an introverted person, just try and smile, bro. Start with in smiling. There's a version of you that smiles. Even so, like just smile when you meet people and say hi and repeat their name and nice to meet you. I'm blah blah blah. Like
Bam.
I might not say another word after this. I'm gonna go home and cry. But like for a minute, I'm gonna just smile and say hi.
I love that. All right. And this E word you're talking about, man, I got to do it. Shameless plug. Ethos, the book. The E in ethos
Energy.
stands for energy. And it's right here. A little thing that makes a big difference. Attitude plus vibe equals energy. And like Joel just said, you just said it, man. Your attitude, it's going to be matched. And then the vibe is so if you have a positive attitude, keep that in your mind. And then the vibe is if you don't have a vibe, you're like, I don't know, I can't catch a vibe. Just smile. Just be like, oh, cool. Hey, I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Excited to be here. Is you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, so that's our networking tip for now to sound so formal, but no, but really just be cool, be yourself. We covered gear and endorsements. Now, also something else you said, you talked about learning and these different panels. Shed some light on that for people who might not be privy to what you mean by that.
Yeah. So like John talks about in the podcast, NAMM puts a lot of time, the NAMM organization puts a lot of time into building the industry. They want people to be successful. And so they spend time learning and putting together educational material for how to help every sector of the industry. They've had panels on like social media. They have a lot of panels on, they have some new panels on AI, which I have mixed feelings on, but it's happening. We'll see. But yeah, I remember going to a panel once where it talked about social media and they were breaking down numbers of views of between Facebook versus Instagram versus Twitter versus this was back when it was Twitter and all these different social media platforms of where the most reach was, who had the most visitors, things like that. So you could know where to focus your time. And they have panels on mental health and panels on, I mean, everything. They just have to have dozens and dozens of incredible things put together for you to like, anyone can go to NAMM and find a panel that will give you some useful information to apply right away. Act with some urgency, but have a patient mindset.
Yes, you said it too the other day. The urgency and patience. Act with urgency. Oh man, I got to do this because it's important to my career, but then be patient for the results. And don't you think that's true for anything that we do as musicians, especially gigs?
Amen. Yeah.
Like how long you've been trying to get on a tour, and I think you're getting ready to gear up for one now. Like you've been on a bunch of tours, but a particular type of tour, right?
Yeah. Since day one, I've been trying to, that's been my whole goal has always been the road.
And you're getting ready to hit the road soon in a few weeks.
Yep. Heading out for 3 months. It's going to be a big one.
3 months. Damn, dude. That's legit.
It's going to be fun. I'm excited.
And who are you going
group.
with?
Timmy McKeever.
Timmy McKeever.
Yeah,
Tell us
newer
more.
country artist. I say newer country artist. He's starting to blow up right now. He's been gigging for years, but he's like 19, been gigging since he was 12, dude, like 3-hour shows on the acoustic guitar since he was a kid. And Killer Artist just signed his label deal, just signed his with the big management group. And he's killing it, bro. Really great team.
That's awesome. So you're going to fly out there to do all the rehearsals.
Yep,
And as the
yep.
music director, you're putting together his playback system, right?
Yes, yeah. So I'm helping. I helped with some input on getting the playback rig itself put together. And then now, yeah, we're working to get the show flow. How are we going to present the show? Making like the opening tracks and transitions and where he's going to talk and stuff like that.
Nice. Now, you can use that tour as an excuse to network while you're at NAMM. Hey, I'm getting ready to go on tour, but such and such, we're going to do this and this. And I've been meaning to track this down. I could really use blah, blah, blah. And next thing you're like, oh, dang, I just scored an endorsement deal with this piece of gear that I really needed for tour. Or maybe it's like a partial deal. Maybe it's a discount. By the way, folks, endorsement deals don't have to be all encompassing. It could be like a percentage. You could get an artist discount, and that's still amazing. A piece of gear that normally might be like $1,500, maybe you get it for half the price. Things like that do happen. So Joel, yeah, we were talking about endorsements, but you were also expressing like the other side of it, like to be aware of.
Yeah. So I've seen people handle endorsements in weird ways because I think a lot of young players get very hungry for that word endorsement because it used to be a very pristine thing. It was if you were endorsed by DW or Yamaha or these huge companies, you were only endorsed because you were the top of the top. And now because endorsement was such a big thing, these young kids all want to get endorsed. And so companies and players, some of them started treating endorsements in a very not dirty way, but very cheap kind of didn't mean what it used to. So there's some certain companies that I'm not going to name, but I feel like a lot of professional players are already going to know who some of these companies are automatically. But there was one company who was handing out endorsements to anyone with a pulse, anyone that said they want to be endorsements. All of a sudden, they were an endorsed artist, and it was really just like 5 or 10% off of retail, which is pretty much what they got at the store. It was like maybe $20-30 cheaper than what they'd get at the store. But
Maybe that's like saving tax if you're in LA, right?
yeah. But they were an endorsed artist now. And that same company, I had a buddy that hopped on with them. And when he was on tour and needed help, they were terrible. The quality symbols they would break and they wouldn't have good customer service because they didn't have the infrastructure to truly have an endorsement deal. There's a lot of companies smaller companies that are taking advantage of younger players' excitement for an endorsement deal. And they're not really endorsement deals. Because an endorsement means I as a player endorse this product. I believe in this product. And you get these players that are like coming out. I knew another guy that was looking for a certain kind of deal. And he's jumped between 5 or 6 of these boutique companies for the same product. And every single one was like a fake endorsement. Like, man, I finally found my voice with this item and this particular thing. And then next month he's with a different company. And he's like, oh, but these guys actually have quality products and they're the ones that make it. And he went through that 5-6 times. And it really cheapened the idea of an endorsement. So that's why I'm very hesitant about that.
Yeah, it cheapens it. And then with all those companies, you're basically giving yourself a bad rep because now they know you're just out for blood. You just want free shit.
Yep.
Wow.
So it is. I don't want to cheapen it for the real ones and for the people that are actually getting products that they care about or even discovering new ones where you're like, okay, this company, we're in a similar place and career-wise, and this company wants to build and I want to build. And I can actually get behind their products. That's cool. But I think a lot of people instead will just pick up products they've never played before, but because they can be endorsed, they're like, oh, cool. Like I'm going to do this. And then you go to that company's website and you look through their endorsement roster and it's no one you've ever heard of. I don't want to go too specific. I don't want to offend anyone, but yeah, it's ridiculous. The endorsement roster is like, these are the guys hanging out at my local bar. Like, what are you doing? What does this mean?
Yeah. And then, okay, so man, there's so much to unpack there. And then conversely, on the other side of the spectrum, like as I've been doing some gigs with Nathan East, and he is perhaps one of the most endorsed musicians. Like check this out, man. I was asking him the other day at rehearsal because he plays Yamaha exclusively. He's been with Yamaha for 40 years, bro. Isn't that incredible?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
They're actually if anyone's listening, Yamaha's my gold drum company.
There you
I,
go.
I love Yamahas.
You and about a billion other drummers. I don't think there's a billion drummers on the earth, but maybe there's this high ratio of numbers. But that's hilarious. Oh, and then also something else I wanted to mention. It's also a friend thing. Like I have a friend, Dave Hooper, who's another drummer, amazing drummer, but now he does web stuff, computer stuff. But he was the A&R, he was the rep for Behringer for a long time. And they had a whole amp and guitar line called Bugera. So he got me an endorsement deal with Bugera. Now, it's not like I went out and saw, oh, I want a Bugera amp. Those things are amazing. But he goes, hey, man, I'm not sure who you use as amps. I'm now with this company. You might want to check these amps out. They're pretty sick. And if you do like them, I can hook you up. Well, man, I still have that one, that the first amp he gave me, it's still in the garage and it's a kick ass amp. So you never know how things go. Now, of course, if you have a friend, that's a, whew, that's an easy, that's an easy in.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people think same thing. Like you go to NAMM, you're like, I'm going to get an endorsement. I'm going to go in and blast their face off like we talked about. I've seen some endorsement deals happen at NAMM, and every one of them was that way. It was a friend who was in, who took them up to the artist rep. And the artist rep was like, oh, homie, good to see you. He's like, yeah, good to see you, man. This is my friend. They're incredible. Here's what they're doing. You're brought in at a value. You're presented with value to that person. When you have to go in and create your own value, it can be really hard. And especially in a short time period, value is created, I think, over time. And that's what the person who's already has that endorsement, that your homie, they've had that time with that person. They've built their value up. And so now when they present you, you're at their level. They bring you in with value already. And that's where deals actually happen.
Man, you're preaching right there. Trust comes over time, and you can't, there's nothing, there's no exchange, there's no, what do you call, replacement for that. You can't just make that happen. And that relationship, that's why it's so important. That's why I say don't network, but cultivate relationships, because that's where it's going to pay off.
Amen.
So, yes, sir. All right. There you have it. Endorsements according to the Career Musician Pro Team.
Yes. And I'm actually going to go, because you talked about this in one of the TCM episodes, talking about like doing NAMM like a pro. And it was your NAMM, I think, was it last year?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I'm talking about like the overwhelm can hit you hard. And so if you go in with a goal, go in with a couple goals, that's going to help you. So for me, I'm going in, I'm looking for MIDI controllers.
Oh.
And basically specifically designed towards live playing, not just MIDI for studio, but MIDI controllers for playback.
Uh-huh.
And then I also want to check out, I've been looking for some kind of infrared, like I think Diodario Evans or ProMark, some one of those guys has an infrared hookup for the mic. Because the hardest part of being a drummer MD is the noise. And so you have foot pedals. You don't want to, if you're going to talk to people, you don't want to just have it open. You need to have some way to shut the mic on and off.
Yeah.
Foot pedals can work, which we use during the award shows.
Yeah.
But they also have infrared sensors that attach onto the mic. So it's pointed this way, and the infrared sensor's right here. And you can see, like, it will shut the mic off once you're more than 6 inches away from it. It'll shut off the mic.
Really?
And then when you come in, it opens it back up so you can talk.
Dude, you're blowing my mind. I had no idea that existed. See?
They're sick. They're sick. And so I want to see, like, as soon as a company comes out with one, there's a cheaper duplicate company coming out with it the next month. So we'll see if any copies pop up at NAMM.
Bro,
But
we got to look into that while we're there, because I want one too.
yeah, it's so much nicer than the foot pedals.
That's killer. I know the foot pedals, man, because I'm, like you said, I'm hitting pedals for my guitar. You're hitting hardware pedals for your cymbals and kick and everything. And it's so hard to have another pedal that you got to think about.
Yes. And I've been looking for a solution for that. And then I think it might be Evans, or not Evans because they're a drum head. It's someone in that
Diodario owns
family.
Evans, I believe.
Yeah, someone in that
part of
Diodario family.
Yeah.
Came out with this infrared light. It looks sick. So I might want to check that out while we're there. Hit the Diodario booth.
Ah, that's amazing. Yes, and I've been endorsed by Diodario Strings forever. That was my goal.
Oh.
Yeah. But now I don't have a rep anymore. My rep stopped working there. And by the way, that's something else that you should be aware of, listeners, when you go to NAMM. These corporations, these companies hire artist representatives, A&R, and a lot of times they leave the company or they retire, and then all of a sudden your in is not there anymore. And it's the same thing with record labels. So my guy was Tom, I can't remember, was it Tom Baldwin? Over at Diodario, the greatest guy ever. But I think he ended up retiring. And then sometimes when you, if you're lucky enough, if you have a really good relationship over there at the company, maybe one person will introduce you to another. I didn't have that opportunity. So now I don't, quote unquote, have a Diodario endorsement anymore. But I know I could stoke those flames and bring them back to life if I have that opportunity. So that's something that we'll look into while we're there.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah. So you said you had something else in mind, a MIDI controller. And are you talking about, by the way, what are you running for playback?
Through doing a redundant Ableton setup because this crew's rolling with a singer who plays acoustic every now and then, lead guitar and drums. So we're a 3-piece. We need to have bass going through the tracks, which is a very frequent setup nowadays with touring, very common setup.
Yeah.
So we have to have the redundant system. So we got 2 laptops running through the Ableton Play Audio, through the Play Audio 1U, and then going through splitters and all that stuff out.
All right, cool. So the MIDI controller that you're interested in, or the type?
So you have to have a MIDI controller to run your redundant system because you have to have one system to launch both of them. And so there are some companies that do it and do it great. So I'm just curious. I haven't really, most of the tours I've done, the playback's been set up by someone else. So it comes with the controller, like the Oak Tones are sick, but I want to get myself a little MIDI controller. And the nice thing is they're just small. They're compact. They're designed to sit on the laptop case. They have 5 or 6 buttons that you can use.
Yep.
Instead of bringing out a whole keyboard or even some of the boards are just big. And so it's just, some of them are small and nice designed for that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Oak Board Mini.
Oak Tones are sick.
Yeah, that looks cool. I've never used one. And by the way, I found the Diodario IR mic mute infrared mic sensor. Bam. I'll pop those in the show notes and we'll have pictures up here as well for people who are curious. But I love that you have a goal. You have a product goal when you're going in. Man, if I can walk away with these 2 items, that's a bonus, right?
Yep. Do the last day deals, get one of them cheap.
Shed light on that for people who don't know. Talk about what that is.
A lot of these manufacturers come, especially ones from overseas, they have to pay a lot of money in freight to bring everything over. They have to show everything off. They're excited to show everything off. But then at the end of it, it's if you can avoid paying that shipping to bring it back and you can sell the things off, you can make some money. Because if you think about it, say they break it down to like one guitar or something, it's going to cost them maybe $300 to ship it back to China or back to wherever it is. So they're negative 300. Or if they sell it, maybe it's a $500 guitar. If they sell it for 250, now instead of losing 300, they're up 250. Now that's a $550 difference between being down 300 and up 250. So you're more likely to get great deals because it's saving them money on shipping. So,
man, I love it. That charango right there.
Yeah,
that's a last day deal charango. I have a fretless guitar over there. That's a last day deal fretless.
Yes, sir.
Love it, man. That's the best. That honestly, I'm not gonna lie. That's my favorite part of NAMM is getting a toy to go home with. That's fun, amazing. Man.
Last day deals, baby.
Yeah. Hey, so what else did you glean from that John Malinzak interview? Because again, he is the president of the NAMM and he's such a cool dude. He just seems so laid back, so knowledgeable, but not condescending at all, right?
100%. Oh, such a cool dude. I really liked everything he was saying, man. I like everything that NAMM does that I had no idea about. Crazy. And then all the active work they do to help build the industry, like the guidelines on endangered woods and things like that. How to ship. He talked about like when European shipping practices changes, they update all the organization members. If you're shipping over to Europe from the US, here's what you need to know.
Wow. And just from a year, because that was 2025 to now 2026, the tariffs have changed the whole international shipping game. So I bet their offices have been going crazy trying to keep up with all the.
I bet their offices have gone crazy with everything. Yeah.
The changes in the law, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just, now that I know how much more NAMM does, I'm excited. It's not just the one day. It's not just, or the 3 days in Anaheim. It's a whole year round of info and education and things that they build for just because they care. I think they're a nonprofit, he said, or a section of them at least is a 501c3. They're a nonprofit.
They do. Yeah, they do have a 501c extension. Absolutely.
Where they invest a ton of money. All the money they make in that area goes right back into building the community. And
Yep. And by the way, have you ever gone to NAMM in Nashville, the summer NAMM?
I never have, man. Is it
Yeah.
cool?
I went once. Oh shit. What was it? 2006, 15 or 16? That was a long time. That was 10 years ago. It was great. It's the same thing. It was
I
the
know
same
it's
thing.
smaller, right?
No, they say it's small. I guess it was smaller, but it seemed big to me. It was this giant hall over there by where the stadium is, and downtown Nashville has changed so much. But it's in this big music hall. I think it's Music City Hall or something, whatever they call it. It was huge. So they say it's smaller, but I didn't get that. It was fun. And there's something about Nashville, musicians in Nashville.
Mm.
It's like, yeah, musicians in LA, okay, but musicians in Nashville, because it's such a concentrated small town in comparison to LA.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you have that many musicians in a little space, there's
That's
a
cool. I'm bummed, man. I never lived. I went there 3 years. Never went to Summer Nam, dude.
Actually, I heard John talk about on the episode that we did last year, he was talking about NAMM Next. So if you've been to NAMM Next, you know about the educational sessions provided by world-class speakers. So that's where I want to get the career musician in, and that is going to be our goal. Now, if it doesn't, it's obviously way too late for 2026, but that's my goal for 2027. For those of you listening, anything you could do to support. If you know anybody over at NAMM, make those connections, man. Hit me up in the DMs. Shoot me an email, info@thecareermusician.com. Talk to us, man. Let's all get linked up so we can make a difference for the better to help musicians everywhere really learn how to turn their musical talents into an actual career.
Amen.
That's like the life force of what we do. And by the way, we are for the working musician. The Career Musician is founded by musicians for working musicians. And that's how Joel and I connected. Joel was on an audition and we hit it off. We stayed connected for 3 years. I hired him for a bunch of gigs until one day I said, what?
Yep, let's get on the podcast.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So here we are.
Yes, sir.
All right. Any last thoughts for this NAMM coming up?
No, say
Any words of
hi
wisdom?
if
Yeah.
you're around. But no, I'm excited, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a good time. Tons of musicians, gear, all the stuff we love. It's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Live performances.
Oh, there's a lot of that. Yeah.
I got to perform for the first time. I think 2024 NAMM. I played a couple spots, but I played at the Ultimate Ears booth right before Stevie Wonder, bro.
Ooh, nice.
So low key opened for Stevie.
That's awesome. Come find us. We'll be wearing our career musician hats. Bam.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks, Joel.
Okay, brother. See you later.
Learning the secrets of the industry from the veterans who know it best. Be sure to subscribe to the Career Musician Podcast.